सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञं स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा दाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। हरि ओम्।
You see the screen? Chitraketu. We start from this chapter or? Yeah, we were here, no? Dehi.
You want to read, Bala?
We start from?
We will go from... This is the...
From here, huh?
Go up. What is the topic?
Chitraketu.
Chitraketu.
Death of we'll start from here. Okay. Yeah. So now the background is we saw the glorious death of Vritrasura, and Parikshit asks the question, how is it that, Vritrasura, he comes out as that huge Asura, but later we see that he is full of the devotion. How did he get that? How was that? He wanted to know how was that possible. So for that, Shukamuni is telling another story, the story of Chitraketu. So there was a king called Chitraketu who wanted a son. So he pleaded to Angiras, Rishi Angiras. Even after Rishi Angiras told him that, the son may not really, give joy as you think, but because Chitraketu insisted, the king, the sage Angiras gives Chitraketu a fruit, I think, which was given to one queen, and then a child was born. Everyone was very happy, but that brought in a lot of jealousy among the queens of King Chitraketu. So that brought out the plan. All the other queens who were not the child's mother became very jealous, and they all plot a plan and they poison the child, and the baby dies in the cradle. So that is the death of the prince. That is where we are here now. As for the king, his joy knew no bounds. He became attached to the child and we spent. So, yeah, all these things is where one day they had poisoned the child. Yes. So the child is now dead. The queen had fainted away, and the king rushed to her apartments. When he saw his beloved son dead, the king thought that he would lose his reason. Both the father and mother cried like demented persons, and the entire palace was sunk in woe, and the entire country presented a dismal appearance. To them came Angiras, who had granted them the child, and with him came sage Narada. They approached the king and spoke words of wisdom to the unhappy man. They said, O king, you are now mourning the death of your son, but if you look at it in a sensible manner, you will realize that you are doing a foolish thing. What is he to you that you should weep for him? How are you related to him? You think that you are the father and he is your son, but think for a moment in your previous birth and in his previous birth, and again in your next birth and in his next birth. Will you both have the same relationship as you are having now? Did you have the same relationship during your earlier births? This son of yours, who seems to be yours now, is not going to be your son in your next birth. He may be your friend or your enemy, or perhaps an entire stranger to you altogether. This relationship of father and son is so indeterminate. When the river is flowing fast, grains of sand which flow along with it travel together for a while, and then they are parted, never to meet again. Even so, in this stream called time, you and your son travel together for a while, and now the parting of the ways has come. Like a plant is born of another because of the seeds, even so children are born in this world. No one has a claim on his child. There is nothing here to be sorry for. Deluded by Maya, you think that you are the father of this child, and so you weep. Shed this delusion. Do I continue, Aarti?
It's all about attachment. When someone loses someone very dear, especially when it is a child, it's a very big loss. It's a huge loss because the attachment is that strong. See, a child's attachment to a parent is also strong, but the parent's attachment to the child is much stronger than even that. And but that is the reality, right? The child, what is this attachment? So now let's understand. Our original nature is freedom. Completely, I am free as an observer. If I'm just observing, I'm not involved with anything, right? No emotions, nothing. I'm just an observer. But in that observer, suddenly some say a hunger comes. And then there is food. Now when the food and hunger comes together, we feel joyous. Okay. Observer, thirst comes. When that thirst comes up, water and thirst comes up, we feel joyous. Now similarly, I am just an observer. The mother is just a role or a father. And how does this role come up? Because there is a child. The child is there and the mother is there or the father is there. And when these two, there is a joy that it is seeking between these two. The joy actually experienced is the joy inside. This freedom that is there, no, that is joyous in nature by itself. But what do? We think the joy is in the object. We think, oh, I am hungry and this particular food which is meeting my senses is giving me happiness. And so the joy is in the food, that too, this specific food that gives my, that satisfies the sense cravings, not even my hunger necessarily. So now when I put the joy in the food, that becomes an attachment to that object. Rather than realizing that what is happening is I am hungry, this food has to satiate my hunger, and whatever satisfaction or contentment I'm feeling out of that satiation of my hunger, that is the joy, which is my real nature. But now when I put it to the object of the senses, similarly, the child is an object of us, and now mentally, now I am so attached to this role of a mother or a father. And this mother or father is seeking that complete gratification because of the child. So now if this child is not there, this mother or the father, this role that I have strongly become identified with, there is no purpose. Or this is disturbed. But what is actually disturbed? It is only, and the child is an object of the universe. The joy and this role that has come together is like that hunger coming up. When the child comes, my mother, then there is a joy in it. But the joy we think is in the child. The joy is our real nature. But somehow, because we have associated that joy with that child, then we feel a lack of joy. We are not able to connect with that divinity within, that is clouded at that point in time because of this kind of an attachment. This child is mine and this child has brought me happiness in my life. In reality, this mother parent is also an observer. The child is also an observer. The child has come with its own karma. The mother parents have come with their own karma, and they are, each of them is living their life separately, but together, like in one bogie. But it's very hard, very nice to say and all. But to be, it is not easy, but we just have to keep reminding ourselves. So here, death is a very big thing. But how many times, even as parents, what do? We keep holding on to the child. Even though they have grown up enough, they can take decisions. No, don't drive a car. You're not still ready for it because you will be very rash. Or don't do these things. Don't do that, because I am fearful of losing. Every fear is rooted in the fear of death. Right? I am fearful of something happening. So we keep holding this child. We can control, do this particular job only, do this kind of a course only, do this only. You get married to the, nothing wrong. There is a sequence. Guidance is fine in that direction also, whatever we are telling. But the amount of anxiety, the amount of worry, the amount of Sadhguru will very nicely say, have concern. Who else will feel concerned for the child other than the mother or the father? But let it not grow into anxiety. When it grows into anxiety, we hold on very strongly to our own children. We're just not ready to let go. The child wants to go. And so now many people are going and settling in the US. Abroad. Just one side, this thing. See, the freedom sometimes is also the freedom from authority, no? The children have respect for their parents, but they don't want to keep going against them all the time. And, or okay, keep fighting or have that tussle. So that is one kind of freedom from that authority in a way. Let's just go away. So here it is talking about the death, but the attachment is something we need to, whether it is our children, whether it is our family members, whoever, right? Because with attachment comes expectation immediately. And so And with attachment, we start hoarding, we start, all of that yama niyama will go away. That we practice. The moment expectation and attachment and expectation comes in, we start hoarding, become more and more greedy for that love that we are seeking from the outside world. But is the love in the outside world? No, the joy is only within. So if we stay connected with that divine self and knowing that, seeing also the other, the child as the child of the divine. The child is here as a part of the grand design. The child is a divine child. The child is of the divine who has come through me, not from me. And when we see that, we can operate in that relationship with that role also, as though I am acting in this world as an actor. Like a person is there, he has to become Rama or he has to become Ravana. He knows that he is not Ravana. He knows that he goes, acts, and comes back to his role. When he is there as Ravana, he has to be that complete characterization of that Ravana, whatever. But he knows behind that I am not Ravana. That clarity is there. So with the same clarity, we operate with complete, because there is a sense of duty. There is a duty that we have to do. There is a dharma for which we have come together also. So there is a swadharma which comes with that particular relationship. But in that whole thing, I keep remembering that observer, that divine consciousness which is there within us, that Paramatma, that Bhagavan is the doer of everything. I am an instrument in his hand. Whatever has to happen is happening according to his design. Like a plant is born of another because of the seeds, even so children are born in this world. So plant is born of another. So the children we are the another. They are actually his. We are the other. They are not ours. But this is Maya.
So the Maya, the delusion here is like what Aarti gave that example, is the delusion is, I think only when, this is a strong example, but we can take this only because this only has come, is as long as this mother role is there, the child is there. When one is gone, either mother or the child, both are, the role of both is over. But when one is gone, we are still holding on to that. Okay, and not allowing to let it go. We are not shedding that. What is the delusion? I am complete only when this both are together. You know, that
because I am
outside,
completely identified with that role as a mother.
with that role, and I don't want to shed it. And I think completion comes only through that role. But that is not true. We are Purna by ourselves within, right? That is what the Purna, joy, Satchit, Anand, everything is, that is our true nature. What happens by that, the delusion is where we start seeking that Purnatva, we start seeking joy from outside. Only when the sense organ and the sense object come together, Purnatva happens. But I think only that is giving. That is the delusion. That is when the moment we think there is something outside which is going to give me completion, there is something outside which is going to give me joy, then I am in Maya. So the moment we realize that Purnatva is within, yes, it is within. Bhagavan is within. And it is the only Purna which is working or whatever it is doing, whatever it wants to do. So we are just there. So the moment the attention turns to the higher self, then we are out of Maya. So Angirath also is trying to get Chitraketu's attention. That is what they call as Shraddha, right? Shraddha, back to reality. You know, come to reality. All these, yes. Okay. Even let the body also cry. Let the mind lament. But let my attention be in truth. Just like how we all know in Ramayana, see, Aarti also mentioned, right? Parents are more attached to the child. That we all know. That is the right than the child's. That is how it is. Bhagavan loves all of us more than our love towards him. We have not even realized. We don't even pay attention to this happening all the time that is happening within. We don't even pay attention, and I am just caught up with my own small little thought that someone disturbed something which has no meaning. A complete nonsense gets into the mind, and it is like a worm, and just that small little, like a leech, it just sucks out everything else, and I'm not paying attention to that reality bubbling in joy and calling every moment. This is the failure of human life. This is our great achievement of taking births over multiple wombs, getting into this mental habit of not paying attention to that most happening, the only happening reality that is there. So, all our sages, all the scriptures are turning our attention to that. Says now, stop thinking about this body and this mind, this small little thing. It is all foolishness. Turn attention to that supreme, that only reality. So even in Ramayana, we see more than it is in Valmiki Ramayana, it seems the shlokas that come where Rama cries when Sita was taken away. Yeah, we'll feel like, oh, Avatara Purusha crying. But when Ravana takes Sita, that the pain that Rama experiences, okay, it is, they say, the pain that the reality, the Paramatma experiences when the Jiva forgets the truth. Yeah, it's all the same, but we need to invest our emotions there and see. That is how that is why we suffer. That is why there is so much pain. More and more and more I forget and move away from reality. The pain and suffering is very acute and high. More and more nothing changes in the outside world. More and more our attention is in the center, is in this reality, in the most happening, Bhagwan. Then we see, things are harmonious and balanced. So that is what Angiras is also now trying to say. Now move your attention from all these things to, he's not saying don't cry, don't grieve. Rama also cries so much. It is an expression of that Paramatma, when the jiva has found its own individual whatever, and going away from truth.
So I'm getting two examples. How I'm trying to bring out how strong this attachment can be. I have had an instance where there was a lady whose mother had passed away, and she would talk about how in her sleep her mother still comes and caresses her forehead and takes care. So and it was almost 4 years since the mother had died. It was not even. So it is that holding on to that sense of being nurtured or this thing. There is some sense of lacking, but we are attaching that to the mother so strongly and not letting go. 4 years and still craving. That is, one instance. And then there are situations where, when there are single mothers, either they have been widowed or that detachment is very difficult because they have put all their energy into bringing up that child, and then the expectation now becomes high. The fear that I will be all alone if my child leaves me and gets married and goes. So then there is so much trouble, and between husband and wife there can be so much trouble now, even though they get the son married or whatever, because that attachment is so strong. What is attachment? That attachment, there is a relationship between the mother and the child, but now the attachment is the fear also that I will become alone. This child is what is there for my support, and he completes me, she completes me. So now it is getting entangled with all of these. The pure love has become entangled and has become attachment. So just giving these instances to show, the love is pure, the love is beautiful, parents respect and everything is there, but yet to constantly remember that this, we are there, we respect them, we are very grateful. There is a runanubandha, in fact, to parents for having brought us into this world. We owe it to the parents that they have brought us into this world. They have given us that womb to come into this world, the mother and the seed to come into this world. But still, we are that supreme. We have come from that. We are of the universe. We are of Bhagavan himself. Each one of us. To constantly remember that.
Yes. You and I, and all living and non-living things on the face of this earth are here for a while in this birth. After death, there will never be a meeting of all of us. This is just a temporary abode for all of us who stay together. Why then should you feel sad? The Lord creates, He preserves, and He destroys. This is the law of nature. Out of the body of Dehi, called father, out of the body of Dehi, called mother, is born the body of Dehi, called son. Dehi here is that embodied being. Yes, I am a Dehi now. I'm thinking this body is me. There is this limitless being which feels embodied, which thinks has a body. That is called, addressed as Dehi here. This is natural as the birth of a seed from a tree. The bodies get destroyed following the law of nature. The law that what is born must die. However, the Dehi, the Atman means Jivatma, never gets destroyed. And so there is no need to mourn the death of something which has no death. This demarcation between the body and Atman exists because of the ignorance of the true nature of Atman. Once you shed this ignorance, this avidya, your sorrow will disappear. Come, arouse yourself and get over his false sense of loss and pain. There is no need for pain here. So he's giving an ultimate knowledge, which is the reality, though hard-hitting, yes, but it is the role of that sage Angiras to give it to King Chitraketu at that point in time. So, shall we continue, Arti? King Chitraketu heard these words.
I hope that was clear enough, right? We are all the Atman in this Deha. The death is only for the Deha. At the Atma level, the person who is leaving, that is also Atman only. It's only the Deha which is destroyed. The person is not. So that person lives in us as the Atman, because the Atman is just the same. The supreme consciousness within everybody, Bhagavan is the same in everybody. It is only the Deha that is destroyed. The Atman is ever omnipresent, ever present, whatever. So at one level, they seem to leave us, but at another level, there is nothing called leaving at all.
Both living and leaving is the same.
Living and leaving is the same.
No. You want to expand on that? Living and leaving is the same. Bhagaviji?
No, I just just playing with the words. I remembered when she said no, the which leaves the body, the living, it is an embodiment of the body, and that has left the body. So both the beings are the same. The being is the same.
Yeah.
Only the outer cover has gone.
Yes, yes.
By listening to your classes, all this comes in the mind.
Bhagavatam, power of Srimad Bhagavatam, no?
Bhagavatam, Artist class, everything together. Nice. And today that explanation was very touching, Aarti madam. That attachment to the children. Yes. See, we have parents and children. though parents are more sick than our children, who are young and energetic, our attention is more towards children than our parents, who really needs more attention. So that itself shows the attachment towards children. Just now I realized when you were talking about that. Actually, they need our attention more because being sick physically and mentally, they are attached to us, but we are attached to our children.
Mm.
Yeah.
True, very true.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the enlightening classes.
King
We'll move.
King Chitraketu heard these words and wiping his face with his hands, he said, who may you be that speak? Who may you be that speaks
Who may
such
you be that speaks such comforting words to me?
words to me? It is known that the emancipated souls like you travel the world over to teach the truth to deluded mortals like myself who behave as we do, like mad people, because of grief, which in turn is born of attachment. You are the lords of my soul, which is floundering in the sea of ignorance. Please kindle inside my dark heart the light of wisdom and grant me happiness. Angirasa said, O king, I am Angiras, who once granted you the son whom you desired. This sage Narada, the son of Brahma, is my brother. Burning as you are with the grief at losing your son, you are not able to recognize me. We have come to save you. You are devoted to the Lord, and it is not right that you should be unhappy. When I came to you last, I would have taught you the Brahma Vidya, but I saw that you were not ripe enough for it then. You were still caught up in the Maya of the Lord. You had a desire for an earthly object, a son, and so I granted you a son. Now you're going through the tortures of a man who has lost his son. So many things here, no? Here it is said, you're not devoted to the Lord, and it is, you are devoted to the Lord, and it is not right that you should be unhappy. In fact, Krishna says, right, in Bhakti Yoga, Satatam Santushta Yogi, the one who is always happy. Happy means peaceful, contented, not like jumping in joy, not that, he says. The one who feels very peaceful and contented, tripti. So he is very dear to me, says Krishna. Mad Bhakta Same Priyaha. So I think a true Bhakta takes everything as Bhagwan's prasad. There is no complaint, no criticism. So there is no reason to that is unhappy. That means I am questioning the ways of the Lord. Can you hear?
You're breaking up, Bala.
It says unstable.
Is it on
You
my
please
side or
continue.
is it on your side? Is she breaking up for everybody or only for me?
No, I saw internet unstable. That's why I asked. I think it's in my side.
Okay. O king, woman, home, wealth, glory, the objects of the senses, royalty, servants, friends, relations, all these are but so many causes of pain, of unhappiness, of delusion, fear, and sorrow. Consider for a moment. Have you never stood on the terrace of your palace and watched the clouds chasing each other? At times, have you not observed that they look like a large city with battlements, with palaces, with spires and castles? Has not your imagination ever conjured up a city out of nothing? This cloud city is called by the wise as Gandharva Nagari, a city built entirely out of the power of the imagination. Have you never dreamed? And during the duration of the dream, have you not felt that you were part of it? Once the dream is over, once you wake up, then you know that it was all unreal, that this waking state is real. Once the clouds are scattered by the passing breeze, you see the Gandharva Nagari melting away and you realize that it was all unreal and that there was really no such thing as a city. Have you not felt all these things? Even so are the things of the world. This reminds me of that story of Janaka Maharaj, right? That he was he's a few kings, some another kingdom comes and invades into Mithila, and he is running away. Janak Maharaj is then running away from he is defeated and he is running away from the city. And when he runs away from the city, he's on his horse and the army is chasing him. The enemy army is chasing him. And he's running away. He runs out of his city limits. And then once he's out of his city limits, now he's very thirsty from all the running away. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. He's very thirsty. He's very hungry. And then he sees that outside a temple, some people are giving some food to the needy. So he also goes and stands in the line, and he just as it was his turn to come, they were giving some rice and something, but it was over. And by just as he came, there was only one, that final kanji, that little starch of the rice which was there. And he is so hungry that he takes that starch of that rice and he is about to eat it. In the meanwhile, some bird, crow or something comes and pushes him out, pushes the hand out, and even that starch falls out. And he is very, very miserable, and he's thinking, why is this happening? What happened? Why am I going through so much difficulty, so much sorrow, so much misery? At that time, suddenly he wakes up. Then now that question comes to me, comes to him asking, is that real or is this real? So if he wakes up, it means that was a dream. But is that real, or me being in this state, is this real? Which is real? Or is this delusion and is that real? So in a certain way, that is what, no, this Gandharva Nagari, it is a creation of our own mind. That Gandharva, like, and you know how beautifully they have given that example of clouds. Clouds, what are clouds? There is nothing like a solid object called cloud at all, right? It is just one appearance. When gas comes together, it is just one appearance that is there. And similarly, this world is an appearance for us, but we think it is so real. But actually, it is only a Gandharva Nagari, as transient as the clouds. J. Krishnamurti will constantly be saying, question everything that you see. Question if this is real, this is real, this is real. Question everything that you see. So, but if we keep questioning everything, where is my anchor? I'll feel completely without anchor. So then what do I do? The only anchor, the real anchor, we will turn to the reality, which is Bhagavan. Because he is the only real anchor. And you realize that it was all unreal and that there was really no such thing as a city itself. So this world is also a creation. We have seen this so many times before, maybe we could do this again. Everything about the world, I see. These eyes are seeing. The world, the image of the world is going through the eyes and it is falling on my retina. The retina is bringing up an image of the world. So I am seeing the image of the world in my mind screen. To me, it looks like I'm seeing the outside, but that is because of the projection of the eye. But in reality, everything I'm seeing about the world, I'm seeing only in my mind screen. I am experiencing the world only in my mind screen. And this mind screen, and then there is a movie that is playing, story, constantly. My memories are my, my memories are my story writer. The mind is the director. The actors are all people around me who are playing in my mind, because the actors, they are a certain way, but now I will spin out a story. I make a character out of that person for the movie, according to my own vasanas, according to my own. So now these characters are playing in my note. I may be thinking, oh, this person is so nice by looking. Again, like, you people may be looking at us one every day, and Bhargaviji will say, wow, she's good. And then you have to see me outside. Oh, this is also Aarti. Because you have only been seeing one side of any person, right? Or when we go out. So that character is playing in the mind, and there is a movie that is going on. So how real is any movie? The movie is as real as the story. Right? So it is unreal, and that there was really no such thing as a city. So is there no world at all that is there? No, but the way I see it, it is not. So to experience the world and the supreme reality together form that one reality, the singularity. But now to see this world completely without the filters of the mind, which are my memories, which are my character building, without the vasanas.
That's the vision of Jnani.
That is the vision of a Jnani. The highest
Ishamasya idam
Jivan.
sarvam.
Correct. So then what he will see? He'll see that everything is nothing but only Brahman.
Yeah.
Only Bhagavan. That when all the vasanas are taken away, the true reality will be shown to him. Until those vasanas are gone, we just need to know that this is also a movie. This is only unreal. Why get caught with it? Why get so attached with it? Right? At least intellectually, to know it and to get detached from it.
See, I recently heard this very powerful. It's very good. See, yes, that is the vision of a Jnani. Okay, that is the vision of a Jivan Mukta, to see everything as Brahman. But we are blessed with this knowledge. So for them that is already siddhi, attained or whatever. But for us, that is a sadhana. Take that up as a practice. For us, we are now training our mind. That is why every time we say whatever life presents is the prasad of Bhagwan. Yes, everything that projects outside very beautifully. Recently, we had a Srimad Bhagavatam retreat, and there it was shared wonderfully that, see, whoever we see are just, courier people from Bhagwan himself. Okay, Bhagwan has something to give us, as incidents, as so many experiences in life, so that, we learn and overcome those things and move closer to truth. So when there is an interaction with someone, remember that there is no individual person as such. It's like the message or the situation or the challenge or whatever the life is presenting is given directly from Bhagwan. But people who we see are like, courier people. We know there is no point in getting attached. Do we get
And
attached
also,
to
detachment,
Amazon?
it doesn't mean we are killjoy. Who will say this? It doesn't mean we
Aarti
don't.
sir.
Raghuramji, no?
Aarti sir, no? Killjoy.
RP sir. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't mean we go about life like we are
Zombies.
zombies. Okay, I am in observer mode always. I will not interact. No, it is not like that. We interact, we exercise, we go through all the feelings, we cry, we laugh, we show our excitement. We show our excitement. We don't become. So this is something that Raghuramji very nicely says. I am the being. The moment, say, anger comes up with me. Now, if the anger comes up, okay. But now I see the anger and then I say, okay, there is anger. What can I do? That is a detached mode. But what happens when the anger comes up? I become the anger and I become angry person. I become, that being becomes. when this comes up, when that being becomes, that is a form of projection. So here, if I am an observer, I can choose. Okay, anger is coming up. I don't want to go with anger. Joy is coming up. Okay, I will become joyous at this point in time. But I still know I'm separate. But I'll choose to be. I'll be joyous. Excitement, I will show my excitement. But even when I'm showing the excitement, I know that it's a role playing. Let me enjoy right now.
Yes,
I
I
will-
know. Surfing. What waves? Waves keep coming. We
Yeah.
choose which to surf
Hmm.
and which to just let it go.
Correct.
Waves will subside after a point.
The unwanted waves will slowly subside.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
constantly be vigilant, not to get attached with the ones that I'm going with.
Hmm.
It is like being in the present without any baggages and living that moment. Is it right?
Hmm.
Correct.
Yes.
Past is history, future is mystery, today is a gift, and hence it is called present.
Yes.
From Kung Fu Panda.
That also enables us to lessen the vasanas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
And helps us experience that joy of Bhagavan constantly.
Attached to the core always.
Okay. Narada said, I will teach you a mantra from the Upanishads. After repeating it for a week, you will see the Lord Adisesha. You will then shed this sense of duality and reach the state which all emancipated souls have reached. With this yogic power, Narada made them all see the dead prince. He spoke to him and said, I greet you. You are the soul of the dead prince. Look on these kinsmen of yours. Your father and mother and others are grieving because you have left them. Please return to the body which you have abandoned. Accept the wealth and the kingdom which your father is eager to give you. Be seated on the throne and make them all happy. Then the soul spoke. The divine soul, because of its getting involved in karma, is born in this world as child of man, bird, or beast. When considered in that respect, everyone has been born in this world, has at some time or other been the son or father or mother of someone else, or relation, or a friend, or enemy. Like gold and other commodities which are bought and sold which change hands constantly, even so the soul passes from body to body, from one father to another. This relationship is transient and unreal. As long as there is this relationship, so long does the word mine exist. But the Atman, though enclosed in a human body, does not have this delusion. It is only when there is involvement that pain arises. It is like a bar of gold. Consider a bar of gold. It is today placed in a box which belongs to a miser. Yesterday it was in a strong box of a goldsmith. Years later it will be placed in the treasury of a king. Each of them will say that the gold is in his box, so long as it was in the goldsmith's box, or in that of the miser, or in that of the king. But they do not realize that the gold does not belong to the box nor to the owner of the box. Even so, the Atman has no attachments and so no pain, nor does it experience any pleasure. It does not grieve when parted from the body which was still then holding it. Thus spoke the soul of the dead child and disappeared from the sight of all of them. Amazed at the spectacle conjured up before them and by the words of the dead prince, the people were rid of their sorrow and were able to comfort themselves. The chain of bondage was snapped and they did not have any more pain. They then performed the funeral rites for the prince, or rather the dead body. The stepmothers repented, now took up vratas to rid themselves of the sin they had committed. The king, with his mind cleared as a pond because of the words of Angirasa and Narada, left his country and wandered away like an elephant abandons a lake filled with Maya. That's why 14 days of samskaras and all that are done, typically, because 14 days of the Atma is still supposed to be around, and the rituals are all for the ones who are living to let go And for the one who is leaving, also to let go. Yes, Bhargavi ji, you wanted to say something? You raised your hand.
You've raised your hand, Bhargavi ji.
You want to say something?
Yes, sir. When I was listening to this, I just saw a podcast with Virat Kohli's diet coach, and they do a lot of tests. In that, a gene test is done, and the doctor says he belonged to the body
What
contains so
test?
many genes.
Aging
Gene,
Gene.
DNA, gene test. So he says his body belongs to North Indian, South Indian, Mongolian, African. All body carries all the genes. Then I suddenly remembered how the soul travels to different. We don't know wherever we have born in the previous janmas. When you just read out, no, the body, the soul passes through many janmas and bodies. He's giving the example. Virat Kohli, for his diet, he consults a coach. All the Reliance, those people, top people, and he is so costly. If I have the recording, I will send it to you. And he clearly says that if the gene test is done, we can find out our previous races, where we were born. So depending on that, our body shapes, even whatever be the diet, someone will not become lean or no effect on them. It is because of the genes factor, the height, the mass in muscle mass, or fat content, everything. You are muted, Aarti. Aarti, you
Aarti,
are
you're on
muted.
mute. Okay. She's talking. Yeah, I remember seeing something like this.
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
remember where, their DNAs are tested and everyone, they see roots with many nationalities.
Yes, yes.
And participants many years back, I remember it was not this, but something else of the same, similar lines.
But
And
it relates to our theory, that
that's a
previous
very good
birth
point.
theory. It goes very well with that.
Yes. So it's like all are the same.
Yeah, yeah.
True.
So it gives a clear understanding of the scripture.
And somewhere also,
See,
yes.
there are 2, 3. One is my own multiple births. Another is we are also carrying the imprints of our ancestors. One is my own births, how many births I've taken, and then the imprints of all my ancestors. Also, so the bodily, the DNA can also be a reflection of my ancestral.
Yeah. Ultimately, everyone is connected to everybody.
Yeah.
Just like that, and we will.
If you go down to the root, no, you keep going back. Correct.
And clear scriptures are more, what do you say, of an authority than the scientific study.
See, the scientific studies, if it's like jumbled pieces, no? If you say you have 1,000 pieces, 1,000 pieces of puzzles, and you are putting together, what they will do, no? They'll put 10 pieces together and say, maybe this is the picture, whole picture. And then after some time, another 10 pictures, 10 puzzles will come together in that. It will give a totally different kind of picture now. Whatever theory they had earlier, it can fall away. And now this 20 puzzle wala, it can give a different picture. And then now they think, oh, I think this is the whole picture. Then they will put another 30. So the theories are, but this is Anumana, the method of inference. But to just go with this kind of Anumana Pramana is that kind of inference, evidence through inference. You can, it is a big guessing game. That is why we do Anumana with the help of an authority, which is our scriptures. Even though the scriptures tell us what it is, we may not know it right away. And hence we may have different assumptions at that point in time. But we still are working towards something that is an authority, which is the Shabda Pramana. We may have some Anumana, but we are constantly moving, but we are moving towards the Shabda Pramana. But this is like moving in the blind when we make these scientific discoveries somewhere. We don't even know where we are getting.
So just to say more on the Shabda Pramana, they are the experience of people like you and me. It is not anything that they have their Anumana. Okay, it's not limited by assumptions. They are true realizations. They call it as Aptavakya. No, our scriptures are realizations of beings, and they have shared it. That is why the scriptures carry, so that's why they are the authority, means it is one level more authorized than assumptions, than inferences. The first level is just pramana, whatever I see here, right? And we know it is because of the limitation of this itself, we cannot go beyond the eyes, only when I see something. So, but we know there are so many things that are there, which my eyes cannot perceive. Okay, so that is the limitation of the sense perception. That is pramana, just there. Pratyaksha Pramana. The next one comes as Anumana Pramana, where there is an inference. Okay, Pratyaksha is this. So by logical assumptions and all that, and with whatever we know, we come to certain theories. That becomes a Anumana. But Aptavakya is going with the experience or the realization. Who says this is reality? So when our intellect surrenders to that realization, only then scriptures work for us. Until that time, scriptures do not work. And we cannot keep seeking scientific, explanations. Because of the limitation of the science, modern science itself, there may be many things which cannot be proven by the modern scientific methods. So somewhere it helps in quietening our intellect, that's all. Some few questions that here and there, but beyond that, only when the intellect surrenders to our scriptures, which is the realization of many sages, then that becomes the Aptavakya, the realized. It's the Vakya of the realized beings. So then it starts working for us too.
So that is why we are studying all these scriptures, because they are the Aptavakya, they are the Shabda Pramana. And we have so many scriptures, and they are the authority at the base of which the knowledge is the same. That string is the same, only different types of flowers have been strung to that string. The basic, whether you look at the Upanishads, Vedas, whether you look at the Puranas, whether you look at the Itihasa, the message that is there is the essence of the thing is Vedanta. It is the same everywhere. Just here it is given as stories and the deeper meaning. In another, it is given just a simple sutras which need commentaries. We just have one bhandar, and Itihasa like Mahabharata, and just through beautiful stories of people who walked this world, also we can learn the same kind of knowledge.
Yes, Brahma Vidya. King Chitra, yeah, I mean, just I feel like sharing this now. So, why do we say Shabda Pramana? We all know all these things, see, Srimad Bhagavatam or Upanishads, right? Written by Veda Vyasa, right? And how did he write it? We all know, we saw it in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, where he was in that Badrikashrama, a place which, only for someone who is not so body conscious can even stay there in that kind of adverse climatic conditions. Okay, staying there along the river Saraswati is in complete samadhi. So that is why all these are called samadhi bhasha. They are in that real, it is not some novel kind of a thing that they have written, right? They have gone into that samadhi. They were one with truth, and the truth has just flown out of compassion, so that generation after generation, we keep reading it. And the more and more we get it, that is why they say, just read the Taptavakya, read the shlokas as it is, whether we understand or not. Then what happens? That being in which they were gets passed on to all of us. That is the that is the greatness of all these scriptures. In fact, when I was reading Adi Shankaracharya just 2 days ago, so touched, the way, I did not know this, maybe many of you might know. So he travels Padayatra from Kashi to Badri. Yeah, and it was for 3 months. And he ensures that he goes to Badrinath, during the cold winter, because he wants to reduce the interactions with other, beings there, because it is at such height that very few can actually access that Badrikashrama cave. So inside the cave he inhabits, he goes there, continues for 3 years. Adi Shankaracharya writes Bhashya for the 10 or 12, I think, Upanishads, for Bhagavad Gita, for Brahma Sutra. And they become we call it as Prasthana Traya, in that they are the basis of Vedanta. Yes, Shankara Bhashyam still is the authority for Vedanta. Yes, so the way they have written, it is not just sitting in the way it is there, where it is very clear that someone who is very body conscious cannot even reach and stay there for 3 months. And the compassion that has flown, they just wanted to give it out to the entire, coming generations. And so he has written the Bhashyam like that. So that is why scriptures are authority. We say, it is that realization of the self. So and it becomes so real and true for us. Every small little word that they have written, and he has written all that, what are they? Atma Bodha, all those things later. So first, this Prasthana Traya, the basis of Vedanta, which are the Bhashyas for Upanishads, the 10 or 12 Upanishads, and then Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra, was written by Adi Shankaracharya and Badrikashrama cave. He wanted to go to the same place where Vedavyasa wrote all this, and then that is how he writes the Bhashyam also. So, this is the greatness of Shabda Pramana.
In Shabda Pramana, that is, whenever we are reading these scriptures, the rishis have written, like in a lab, experiments are done in a lab. Somebody else can also, it is all written down how to do the experiment. Somebody will come and do it in the lab, and then they will find evidence that, okay, this is a proven one. I am able to repeat this experiment. Then it is accepted. Here, similarly, I am the lab. I am the scientist. The scientific evidence is given in the Shabda Pramana. You study the Shabda Pramana, the authorities, the scriptures, apply it and reveal it through Shravana Manana Nididhyasana within myself. And then when that eureka or that realization happens, so then that knowledge also becomes from me only. I am the lab, I am the knower, and I am the known. Everything is the same person here. It is not outside. It is all happening in that ultimate consciousness within me. That is the Shabda Pramana, and that is the essence of, that is why all the authority, the scriptures have been given, and that is why they say, you read the scriptures, but don't just believe in it, but actually seek that knowledge. Know that that is Pramana, but finally you must know it has to, from Paroksha Jnana, it has to become Aparoksha Jnana. From the knowledge outside. Now, when I am listening to it, it becomes just intellectual knowledge. But when I realize it, it becomes aparoksha jnana, not outside me. Now it is my knowledge. It is my realization. And that is what we need to work towards. We don't just believe, we seek. We seek that oneness with the Brahman through the Shabda Brahman, Shabda Pramana. That's all. Okay, we'll close.
Yeah.
Guru Charanambhuj Nirbhar Bhaktaha Samsara Dachirat Bhavamuktaha Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवं द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हरि ओम
Thank you, Hari Om. Very powerful class. It was nice today. Thank you.
Thank you.